Okay, so EBI 2 is to learn how to calculate pressure and to be able to rearrange the equation in order to find the force. So this question came up in the exam, and I would like you to pause the video and read the situation and the question. Okay, so welcome back. I'm going to show you the responses that I've got from this question. And you can see there is a variety of responses here, and only one of them is correct. So I'm going to show you how to work this out and how that person came about to the correct answer. So in order to work this out, in order to calculate the pressure, we need to know the equation for that. And the equation of finding pressure is going to be pressure is equals to the force applied divided by the area. Okay, so now we have the equation. We just need to substitute. We have the force, which is the pencil exerts a force of 5 newtons, which is this over here. So 5 newtons divided by the area of contact, which is 0.5 millimeters squared. So if you were to use the calculator and work this out, you should get 10 newtons per meters squared. So that is the correct answer. Now, this person has written pascals as their units. Be very careful with that. Yes, you can use pascals as a unit for pressure. However, in this case, it's best to use the units that are involved, which is newtons and millimeters. So it's going to be newtons per millimeters squared. Okay, so that's what you need to use, because there is a certain conversion that you might have to do. Okay, so now we are confident in using this equation, but there is another question that came up in the exam, and that is this question. Jenny's book has an area of 200 centimeters squared. It exerts a pressure of 0.05 newtons per centimeter squared on the desk. What is the weight of the book? Show your working. So this time round, the question is asking you to find the weight, or in this case, it's going to be a force. So you're not finding the pressure now. The pressure has already been found for you. Now you need to find the force. So how are we going to do that? Using this equation. I want to show you some of the answers that you have written down. And some of you have written down 10 newtons per centimeter squared, and 4,000 newtons. Let's investigate who got the correct answer. Right, so again, I'm going to use the system cues to help me structure my working out. So the first thing I'm going to do is collect the data. The pressure, we know the pressure is 0.05 newtons per centimeter squared. It's important that you put that dash over there. Newtons per centimeter squared is not the same thing as newtons centimeter squared. Very different things. You'll find it out in future lessons. The next is force. And force is what we're looking for, which is the weight of the book. So that is a mystery at the moment. And area is going to be 200 centimeters squared. So we've collected our data. So the next bit is units. Do I need to convert my unit? In this case, I do not need to convert my units because they are both the same, centimeters squared, and the question does not tell me to convert any of the units. So I am happy with my units. The next bit is to write down the equation, which we have on the top. So that's going to be pressure is equals to the force divided by the area. And then now we substitute with the values that we have. So we've got 0.05 equals to the force, which we don't know yet, divided by the area, which is 200 centimeters squared. And there is another part to Q's, which is R. And R means to rearrange. So we are going to rearrange this equation. So we want to make force the subject, and the way to do that is to get rid of this 200. And the way to get rid of that 200 is we look at this operation here, which is divide, and we're going to do the opposite of that and times it by 200 here. So the opposite of divide is times, so we're timesing it by the same number, 200. In order to get rid of that, we also need to times this side by 200. So by doing that, by timesing both sides by 200, that effectively cancel each other out here. So this gets cancelled out. So we're left with 200 times 0.05, and that would be your force. So now the force is the subject, and the answer is going to be 10 newtons, and that's your force. Now it's important that we say that it is newtons and not newtons per centimeters squared, because that is only used for pressure. We are talking about force here, so it must be measured in newtons. That will be the weight of the book. So the weight is measured in newtons. So to recap, follow this system, Q's, collect the data by looking at the question, check if you need to convert your units. In this case, you don't need to. Then you write down the equation, which is pressure equals force divided by area. Then you substitute the values using the data that you have collected over here. So this is the data you've collected. And then you rearrange the equation.